Wait, I gotta get my energy back up.
I just started the thing. All right,
Go
all
ahead.
right, ready?
Mhm.
And now it's time for Netflix
Netflix
account.
again!
This is our recent reviews of recent movies and TVs. And this week we're going to talk about Netflix The Get Down, but I got to start it right. So bear with me. All right. Shallon's the DJ that we call conductor because Shallon Fantastic is a bad mother ever. Yo, The Get Down just came out a few weeks ago in August. Was I'm like I've let me just start off by saying when I seen trailers for this like 2 months ago, I just thought it was going to be in the 70s, and I thought it was about black people,
Mhm.
and I knew it had a little bit of tinge of music. But when I got into that first episode near the end, and I realized it was about the creation of hip hop, bro, yo, I was giddy like the entire season after that. Like when Flash was teaching old boy how to loop. When he finally figured out the loop, when they
Mhm.
were getting all the parts ready for the battle at the end, all the music and like this is such a production. Like all the they got what's the dude's name? His name is Boz Luhrmann, I believe. It's
Baz
the
Basler.
Luhrmann.
Lerman. There you go. Thank you. It's the this guy was behind hits like Moulin Rouge. He's German, right? I believe.
He is what is it?
Something.
Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
He's not from here, but it's crazy because like him in a collaborative effort with like the likes of Nas and we were able to create this like real life telling of 70s New York and the
Hmm.
creation of hip hop, and it's such a beautiful, just fun, like
Black.
black and oh I'm sorry and Spanish. I mean
Yeah, yeah.
I'll say
Hey,
this
hey.
is
So,
very
yep.
definitely Spanish.
Absolutely.
It's beautifully shot. It's funny because like I can tell like from the first episode because it's funny because like within TV they have to shoot the pilot episode to sell the show, and when they shoot from that pilot episode you can tell from the person that directed the pilot episode, which is also a good episode. But the rest of the episodes were completely directed by two different people.
Hmm.
Just because the way the first one was shot, like I was noticing things, and but I loved it, man. Everything like the casting was perfect. My Jaden Jaden Smith, who I swear wrote all his lines in the movie.
He's
In the
playing a
series.
70s version of himself. Like,
Pretty much, yo, he was too. I love that movie. What about you guys?
uh,
I loved it.
yeah. Go ahead, Ethan.
Baz Luhrmann is a visionary. I've been a fan of his for years. He also did the Great Gatsby,
Hmm.
Mhm.
Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo. Um,
Mhm.
his I love his creative vision. Like there's this whole kind of controversy about how long this series was taking to make, and I'm like, well, genius takes time. It's
Yes.
like to me, he can be divisive because his di- direction style is very stylistic. It's
Hmm.
very high concept, and like to me, like you either get it or you don't. And me personally, I love how lush his filmmaking style is. Like I just feel like he just puts art onto display, and he does not let us down with the Get Down. I think it was an awesome combination of black culture with his style, and showing that these two things aren't exclusive to one another. I mean, if you even look at the Great Gatsby, and even that was divisive in its own way, because of his style. But he was able to infuse some modern influence along with jazz. So to me, coming on board here and kind of expecting him not to do the same was not logical, as Spock would say. And so, to me, like you have to be on board with what his vision is, otherwise, like you won't get it. And me personally, I loved it.
Yes.
Like I feel like the music was on point. The acting, like I have to give it up actually to Justice Smith, who played.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He came out of nowhere and like blew me away. Like
I ain't ever seen this dude before.
yeah, me either. And like his scene, I don't want to spoil it because I want people to see it. But his scene in the classroom with the teacher made me feel like I felt that.
Oh,
Well,
when he
all of
recited
it.
the poem, yeah.
Yeah. And it was such an honest and beautiful story. And to me, like this is more of what I really want, which is essentially like a partnership between Hollywood and various cultures. Like I feel like they shouldn't be as separate as they are. I think it's awesome that like Baz wanted to do something like this, and like he deserves more credit. as a result of going out and doing a story like this because he didn't have to, and this was just like such an awesome like throwback almost to certain like what Enter the Dragon like type of like blaxploitation almost, but in such a moving and resonant way that's very topical to what's happening right now. So I personally loved this series, like even more than I thought that I was going to, because as I said, I'm a Baz fan. But this even exceeded my expectations.
Mm-hmm. So The Get Down is basically one of my favorite shows of all time now. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Part of it for me, that the thing that I connected with it so much is that my dad actually grew up in New York City at the same exact time that this film took place, that this TV show took place, and not only that, but he was right around the same age that these characters were.
Yep.
The Get Down takes place in the Bronx. My dad grew up in Queens. They are, there's not a whole lot of difference between them, at least on the surface, and so knowing. Not necessarily firsthand, but better than I would say most people, how accurate the Get Down is to real life and how it was, is kind of mind blowing to see. And speaking to my dad, who did watch it and loved it for those reasons, it's just kind of a cool experience to sit there and almost watch my dad's childhood in a way that most people, I don't think most people really get to do, especially not black people. We don't get to see those stories.
No.
We don't get to hear those stories. But what's cool about the Get Down is that aside from featuring some iconic DJs of the era, it featured a lot of realism and a lot of references to the real time. One of the main villains in the Get Down is the Savage Warlords. It's a gang that just kind of exists in the Bronx area, but they're actually based on a couple gangs from the area called the Savage Skulls and the Savage Nomads. So, and my dad was telling me that he remembers growing up being aware of those people, and one of his friends actually ending up in that gang because he had to. Didn't really have a choice. So it's so crazy to just watch this show and just watch it from the perspective of someone who kind of knows a little bit better than most. How accurate it is. I want to give a shout out to Justice Smith also, because I've seen him he was in Paper Towns, and the character that he played was so starkly opposite from his character on this show that I had no idea that this kid was such a strong actor. He went above and beyond to get the accent of the region down, the graveliness of his voice. The delivery of the lines when he was rapping is just crazy. Like, I can't believe.
His flow was
isn't it crazy? It's like I can't believe how, like, I don't know, just how special this show is to me now. But one of the things that's kind of blowing my mind is that the Get Down has received sort of mixed reception, mostly positive, but a lot of negative, and a lot of that comes from the fact that people are saying, oh, it's not. The reviewers are saying it's not relatable. That's not something that I can see myself in or whatever. But that really speaks to that double consciousness that we as black people have to have. We have to understand not just our own perspectives, but the ones of others, where I don't feel like we're always afforded that same courtesy. No. To say that, the events of the Get Down are not realistic or not believable absolutely tells me that you have made no effort to understand the people of that era. And again, speaking as somebody who has a father who basically lived the Get Down, anyone who pulls anything like that is talking out of their butts, because Troy said I'm not allowed to curse anymore.
Please stop cursing.
It's talking out of their butts, and I just I don't know a single black person or Hispanic person who is not raving about the show.
Yeah.
And that is because we know this story in our own ways.
Yeah, exactly. I think the critics' opinion, and not all of them, but some of them, it undermines our narrative, as you said. Like, I have no issues watching Downton Abbey and empathizing and sympathizing with people. Like, that's what it's about. I don't have to have their exact story to understand what they're going through. And so for you to say that you're unable to do this with this type of story is honestly a slap in the face to our culture.
Right.
I mean, I watched Star Trek Beyond. I'm not out in space.
Right.
I mean,
Right?
I've never been in the future. I don't know about y'all. I've
I
never
don't know
been
what
to a
y'all.
different planet.
I've only been twice.
I was
I
I was in. I mean, I love Zootopia, one of my favorite movies, but I'm not
Yeah.
an animal.
I've
Okay, I'm
never been a rabbit personally, but I still sympathize with those people. No, but the thing is, like, the storylines that are being told in the Get Down, just because they take place from a Black and Hispanic perspective, does not mean that they only speak to Black and Hispanic experience. We
just
all
poor.
struggle. We all struggle with this stuff. We all struggle with with trouble finding money, with trouble figuring out what you want to do with your life. We
Yes.
all
Dreams and hope.
struggle with uh, just trying to find a way to be happy in your situation, and it blows my mind that people can't find a way to connect
It's
to
pretty.
that
It's so
just
weird.
because the people in it aren't white.
Yeah, that's literally the exact because they literally address that in the beginning of the show with his poem, and so like
Mhm.
literally, so they explain everything, and it shows how he has his talent for this thing, but he doesn't know where to use it for, and this is literally all in the first episode. So
Mhm.
by the first episode, if you don't get it, then like you're pretty much the same, just because.
That means you went in it because you didn't want assuming that you weren't going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
no.
and then also like, and this is the issue with Hollywood is that if it's not from someone's perspective, i.e., like from slave to master,
Right.
and their perspective isn't quote unquote being shown, then it just doesn't like register to them, and that's why like it's that double consciousness of us having the luxury of living in this world where it's dominated by another culture, and yet we are still able to cling onto ours while still being aware and understanding the other parts of it.
Right.
And but that's also why I was happy to see the positive responses from like people, you know, and to me that's what's becoming more and more prominent is the fact that people are rallying against the machine in ways and saying like, yes, this is what reviewers are saying, but it's like this is ours, like we're going to be happy for this, we're going to be excited and to push this because more stuff like this needs to come out, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I Go
Oh,
ahead,
go
Troy.
No, go ahead, Sean.
Shout out to Baz Luhrmann because this Australian man just came in here and made one of the best pieces of black art I've seen in a
Sure.
long time. And I also just want to say, like, this plus movies like Dope and Dear White People, like, this is just further proof that we have stories to tell that have nothing to do with slavery.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny because like the Masters of None won I think an Emmy this year.
That
That's it.
Good.
Aziz
that
Ansari.
show with I
I
hate
haven't.
that show's garbage. I'm sorry. I know
What?
people love it, but I
Jesus Christ.
hate it.
But anyway, let me get to my point before you trash everything that I talk about.
I love you.
My
Too.
guy. All right, thank you. So the guy was talking about they won an Emmy, and the guy was talking about thank you white people for dominating TV so far. That way, when we can tell an average story about our race, it's known to be unique and special and exotic. So it's like that's what I see. That I was trying to get to before you totally trash my leads, Humphrey. Jeez.
Use Mindy Kaling instead. Her show is better.
No, I haven't seen neither. But my okay. So I wanted to talk
Oh,
about.
sorry, real quick. Sorry. Mindy Project is following me on Twitter. That's all.
Oh!
And continue.
This is the dumbest. All right, so
Shout out to Mindy.
you interrupted me to talk about all right. So anyhow, the music in this I didn't want to talk about that before I mean go into anything else. Did anyone interrupt my point about how great this music was? No. All right, cool. So the music was absolutely amazing. Literally, right when it ended, I did two things. One, I called my dad and I said, "You probably should watch the show," because my dad was a DJ in the '70s, and this is literally like kind of living out his life.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that either.
yeah. My dad literally right before he went to the military, he and my technically my uncle Kevin, they would just they carry crates and they would go to different parties and they would DJ.
That is crazy.
I've only
Yeah.
known being a part
Ethan,
of it.
y'all are related. How'd you not know
I
that?
know. I'm a little.
Like my dad don't talk to me. My dad is not. My dad like it literally took years. My dad actually no. My dad used to tell me. I remember when I got into high school. That's when he told me that he used to DJ with
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I found out my dad was like Jimi Hendrix. Like he had like an afro, like a deep.
What?
Yeah. Like it was a lot going on. But anyway.
Jesus, why do I tell you our family's so talented? Anyway, but yeah, my dad, so I literally, so the first thing I did is I called my dad and I was like, you should watch The Get Down. It's literally your life. You should probably watch it because it is so dope. And then I bought it. I went to iTunes and I literally bought all the music.
Yeah.
And that album is 24 songs of like some of it's like old school stuff and in the official breaks that they had for well, I'm sorry, the get down parts of the songs, and they
Mhm.
actually had like extended versions or actually mastered versions to the songs that they had during the show. So like there's the song you're losing, you're losing yourself that they kept
Mhm.
playing there. There's actually a full version of that with Jaden Smith and Rory rapping
Which is
over it, and
great.
it's the most cleanest thing in the world. You got features by Teddy Pendergrass, Zayn, Christina Aguilera.
That Zayn and Teddy Pendergrass song is fire.
It's
Fire.
fire.
No, you
It's
took
so
my
good.
face off.
It's so good. I'm surprised because Shamik Moore, which is also I didn't want to highlight. I mean, I did want to highlight him because he's amazing in
Yeah.
things I've seen. Shamik Moore raps, but he didn't have a song on here. I'm surprised that they didn't catch him for anything. But yeah, this is like they put so much effort into this album, and like
Christina
it's like
Aguilera made her best song in years on that.
this is true. Come back, Christina. So it's funny. I really hope this becomes like a thing. Like Netflix, it kind of just shows me that Netflix is taking over. We got literally in just over 3 weeks, we have Luke Cage premiering, and
Mhm.
he's having an original soundtrack composed by Ali Shaheed Muhammad, which is one of my favorite producers. He produced all of Child Called Quest songs,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
then the
Some of the
songs are
best beats I've ever heard.
yeah, the songs are friggin' the song title, I mean, the episodes are song titles of Gangstar songs, which is Guru and DJ Primo, Primo's group back in the day, which is also one of my favorite hip hop duos. So like I love this evolution that Netflix is doing, where they can not only market a great show, they literally have a full blown epic sci-fi movie coming out with David Ayer directing and Will Smith starring and Max Landis writing. And they're
Mhm.
gonna make that like it's like the biggest budget film. So it's kind of exciting time for Netflix and to see how everyone has to kind of adjust to what they're doing now.
Yeah.
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 Because it's kind of funny because they release their shows so differently. They have the ability to make such tighter stories than a
Yes.
lot of the shows that have to air weekly and they have to be made as the show goes on. So they're making amazing stuff. Stranger Things is amazing. Like
I haven't watched.
everything Netflix is doing is
No
crazy.
spoilers on
No,
Stranger Things.
no, no.
All right, cool. I've somehow been able to avoid all the spoilers in it. I don't know how,
You're not.
but
That's not gonna last long. So just watch the show.
yeah, I'm trying to, but I don't have enough time. I binge watched Scream Queens. I flew
Shout
through the
out to
Get Down.
Scream Queens.
Um, I saw. Oh, actually, I'm gonna tell you. I saw. Oh, this is completely random. I saw Kubo, that
Oh
animated
yeah.
claymation about the Asian thing. And
Mhm.
outside of the fact that there were literally only two Asian voice actors in the movie, and they weren't the leads. Just to let y'all know, the leads were all
Really?
white. The leads were all white people. It's Matthew McConaughey, Charlize Theron, and some white kid. And then, but George Takei is in it. He says two lines, and then the one Asian dude who's in every thing that has to be Asian ever. Like he played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. He was Hawaiian in that one Disney movie. Y'all know who I am. This is old dude.
Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, he was in it. But outside of that, but anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. Get Down. I'm gonna watch it again because mind you, this is just part two. There's only 6 episodes. The next one doesn't come out till next year, which is a travesty.
It is.
I know.
But I'm gonna watch this again probably like 2 more times. How about you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah, same here.
absolutely.
Sure.
Like I said, it's one of my favorite TV shows ever. It really spoke to me on like a personal level. So
Oh, and I'm sorry. One thing that I thought was dumb cool was Thor, the introduction to Thor, and
Oh yeah,
his relationship with Jaden. I was like, I
yeah.
caught me off guard. I mean, well, it didn't catch me off guard because as soon as I seen him,
No, I saw
like,
that was
oh,
coming.
I was like, but I was surprised that they put that in the show in the '70s because in the '70s it was
It was taboo, but what's funny though is that at the same time during the disco movement, it was also huge.
yes,
Being the free people
Free
was a big
love.
thing. So
yes. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. 10 out of 10. I had no issues with that thing at
me
all.
neither.
Oh
Same.
my gosh. All right, so.
I
More-
couldn't
more
find
projects like
anything.
that.
I couldn't make up anything to not like about it.
No.
No, I wish it was longer. That's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Good one.
That too.
Yeah.
So
More
All right.
episodes.
now for Bounce of the Bloods.
Woo!
We're gonna keep it short and sweet. This is an extra, double stuffed episode. What are your guys' most anticipated movie coming out now that we're past the 2/3 of the year and the finalization of Suicide Squad passing? What are you guys looking forward to as the year comes to an end, movie-wise?
I'm looking forward to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Um,
Oh.
I have been having a Harry Potter weekend.
Always a good idea.
Yes, always. And I love magic and adventure, and Fantastic Beasts does look fantastic. Like I'm just excited for a new story within the Wizarding world.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's mine.
Did you hear about how they're going to make a trilogy out of the Cursed Child or something like that for Harry Potter? Like they're going to try to,
I did
Mm,
hear that.
I
yeah.
heard that the basically the novelization of the script is like not very good. So if they're gonna do that, I hope that they improve the
I
writing.
think it's just I
Yeah.
think it's just WB because WB is like they only have the DCU universe are running and this is their major cash cows,
Yeah.
so they need another one because Harry Potter for a long time was
Yeah.
their big pull, and then once that stopped, and then once Dark Knight stopped, that's when they were like,
hmm
oh crap, we gotta make other ideas. So yeah,
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
yeah. Sean?
I was also gonna say Fantastic Beasts just because I'm like the world's biggest Harry Potter fanboy, but since Ethan already said it, I'll give it to Doctor Strange, sans Tilda Swinton because she does not exist in that film as far as I'm concerned. No, I'm really excited to see Marvel just fully embrace the magic. They
Yeah,
haven't done that. They've tried to keep everything very much in the realism. Even Scarlet Witch's powers were made out to be much more realistic
stupid.
than they actually were.
She's a
Uh,
mutant.
Canon. So I don't know. We'll see. It just looks so fundamentally different from everything we've ever gotten from Marvel. So I'm ready to see what they do with it. Hope it doesn't flop. It's probably going to get a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes
Oh, 100%,
strictly
like
because it is a Marvel movie, and Benedict Cucumber is in it. So
That's all you need.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I would say that second trailer did it for me because at first I was not
Yeah.
hyped for this movie at all, but that
I know
second
you are.
trailer, I was like, all right, cool, I'm with it. I kind of want to see it in 3D, honestly.
Yeah, I would.
Um, will choose The Accountant by Ben F. I'm kidding. That comes out later this month. Actually, it kind of looks cool. Anyway,
It does look decent.
I believe it or not, I'm kind of hyped on this Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that the first trailer. I don't know, man. Just that music, man. The way they flip both themes, man. And then I'm really intrigued by what the twist is gonna be,
Mhm.
and I like not knowing about a movie.
Yeah.
So like that's my anything that I can go into. Like I hope it's a surprise for me just as much as X-Men Apocalypse was for me this year. So and I mean I like all the actors in it. I like it's a full like it's my favorite thing, diverse cast. Like I have a
Yeah.
full blown diverse cast. I like that Star Wars is a thing again. Honestly, I feel like we don't talk about space enough.
I agree. There's
So,
so much out there. We need to do more with it.
yeah,
It's
so
the final frontier. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, no, I would but yeah, Rogue One.
I'm ready to see a story that's not about the Skywalkers and
This is
friends.
true. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just hope they got James Earl Jones to come back to do Darth Vader's voice. Although I wish they didn't show him in the reveal of that trailer. I
Yeah,
will say.
I want them to work on these advertisers to work on not showing so much in the trailers.
Exactly. Like I mean, for instance, like I think the only two people that really kind of killed their marketing as far as trailers go was Suicide Squad and Deadpool. I think Deadpool.
I think Batman vs Superman should have not said anything about Wonder Woman because that reveal would have been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, no, that reveal would have been.
I mean, the thing is that like we knew that it was coming just because Zach has been vocal about it,
Yeah.
and it's like I would agree, but I just remember like watching Jimmy Kimmel with Ben coming on and watching that trailer, and like if I wasn't fully prepared, like or at least partially prepared before the theater, like I don't know what would have happened. I would like
I would have. I would have.
I would have died.
It still would have been.
You and I were already out of control.
I mean, it would have just been cool to. I do miss reveals like that though. Like I do kind of hate this day and age where I can't. Okay, like I remember when I first saw Avengers, the first Avengers, right? And I didn't know anything about it and how much I loved like like every action scene. I'd never seen these concepts before. And like the first fight with it, like the three of them came, they were fighting in the trees. I mean, well, in the forest or whatever, and just not knowing about any of that was just I love that. So I kind of wish. I mean, I hope that they. That's. I mean, honestly, that's kind of the greatest thing about how they're shooting Justice League is all on a soundstage or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't get anything unless they show everything in the trailer.
The most you would get from a set photo is from like a production assistant, and they'll probably be fired right after. So
pretty much. So, but yeah, those are. I mean, that's. I mean, yeah, we got a good. Yeah, we got a good rest of the year ahead of us. This has been a good movie year.
Yeah, it has.
Me, I haven't been like crazy disappointed by anything.
I've heard a lot of people call it terrible, and I couldn't disagree more. So
I disagree with that as well.
I disagree. No, I mean there was a lot of movies. I'll say that. But this is not no way. I was never. There was nothing here that was like, oh, I cannot believe what I said. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and all right, so that's a wrap, folks. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, join our Facebook group, and rate our show on iTunes. We will actually be back next week. I know this is kind of soon. We're going to do a Blerd Culture Radio, bringing those back. We're going to review our show Atlanta. But yeah, this is Troy signing off.
This is Ethan. Be sure to check out my Space City Comic-Con interviews and such. We'll be posting it on our YouTube, Twitter. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah. And I'm Sean, and I'll be all you need and more. Because I'm not gonna sing the whole song, but
last thing, don't vote Trump because we'll get taco trunk. We're gonna get taco trunks on every corner if he doesn't. That's a real thing that somebody said. All right, peace.